Alright, so we're gonna interview Bianca today and we're gonna just challenge her and see what she's got up in that brain of hers. So, Bianca, you're from Texas.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. You've basically killed it your whole life, from what I know of you.
Yeah, ups and downs, mostly up.
So let's give a little background of who you are and like where you came from, obviously.
Okay, well, let's see. So I've moved a ton. I've throughout my life I've always moved a lot, which made me like cultures and people, and I liked adapting to new things, but it also made me bored of doing the same thing every single day. So when I started my entrepreneurship was actually when I was 14 years old. So I play piano. A lot of people don't know that, but I learned by ear, and I took piano lessons for about a year, and then from there I became a teacher. And so I taught 13 students, and I got paid anywhere from $10 to $25 for every 30 minutes. And that started when I was 14 years old. And it really got me excited because I was my own boss. I was making my own money, and I mean, in high school I had all my own money to go spend. My parents couldn't tell me what to do with my money, and that like sparked it for me. You know, I was my own boss. I could run everything. So from there, I did a few retail jobs, but I still kind of try to push to do like my own little things, you know. And from there, it was like business after business just came to be. So.
That's cool. I think every entrepreneur has a similar story. Mm-hmm. But I think the coolest thing about Bianca, and since I've known her, we've always been like associates for a while up here at school or when we went to college. But there was something about Bianca where she would just separate herself from the herd. And I want to know how you did that. How did you separate yourself? I mean, we got thousands of students doing the exact same dang thing in school. How did you separate yourself?
Well, I don't know if you've seen this picture before, but it's a picture of all these blackbirds, and it says, and then they're all sitting on a line because all birds tend to stay together and travel together. And there's one bird that happens to be on the opposite electrical line, and on it says, "It's okay to be different." And I had that picture in my room in college the whole time because I felt like everybody tries to be the same, like when they're in there, you know, like especially girls, you know, we all try to dress the same, go after the new trend, but I didn't really want to be the same. I wanted to be different. I mean, my name was already different enough, so I was like, I'm going to go after not following the pack. And so, especially 4 years ago, entrepreneurs weren't even like that big at that point. And when I started doing events on campus and like for businesses and for the school, I noticed that I started kind of leading a different path because I wasn't the typical Mormon girl going to school for the Miss degree. Yeah. And if you are going to school for the Miss degree, then that's your choice. But I didn't want to do that, and I wasn't happy doing that. So I decided that I was going to be that bird on the opposite electrical line. So yeah, I compared myself to a bird, but I would never allow myself to be in the group, if that makes sense. So.
For sure. I think one of the coolest things is Bianca and I knew each other. We would always see each other at the gym. That was kind of our like release or our stress release of just school and like trying to hustle with our businesses or whatever it was. And I think it was like probably the last semester we were both in school, or I was in school. And I approached you and I remember saying like, "What are you going to do?" And you're like, "Well, I'm already doing it." Yeah. You know, and you already like started your whole freaking business. So kind of tell us like how you started your business and what your business, your business is.
So, crazy story. I graduated school December 2014. And at that point I knew I was going to get married to my now husband. And I got a job offer, Garrett, shout out to Garrett. I got a job offer from ESPN in Kansas City. And it was like my dream job. And I went out, interviewed, and I was like, you know what, this is it. I'm just gonna go, I guess you could say, the corporate route. Right. But I had to work every Sunday for basically forever.
No bueno.
So yeah, but truth is I actually was like, you know what, I can maybe I could work my beliefs into working every Sunday.
Right, justify it a little bit to make it sound right.
Exactly, like they could bring church to me is kind of what I said. I'm not kidding, that's actual quote that I said. And I called Garrett, and we weren't even engaged yet, and I said, hey, I have this job offer. I want to take it. And he goes, why are you even thinking about it? And he was like, you can do better. And I was like, better than ESPN? I was like, he's kind of crazy, but I turned it down, and I was kind of bummed, actually, to be honest. For about a month, I was pissed. That's the only word I could think of, is I was pissed at Garrett for telling me no, and I was pissed that my beliefs wouldn't let me work on Sunday. And then I thought to myself one day, I was like, wait a minute, I've always worked for myself. Why would I want to go have someone else tell me what to do every day? And so for about 2 weeks, I stayed up like every single night, and I was like, what do I like to do? I love telling stories. I love people. I love marketing. I love building someone up. I love building people up. I love analyzing corporations. And so from there, I decided to build a company called Vox Voice. And it happened in Dallas, Texas, in my bedroom for 2 weeks. And I kind of just was like, you know what? I don't want one simple thing that I was going to do. So I offered 16 plus services, anywhere from marketing, branding, SEO, keynote speaking. And I just threw it out there one day. And I turned down every other job, didn't even look at them. And I kind of went in blindly. And then from there, it was probably the best decision I ever made. The riskiest, though. Was it easy? No, not at all. Because for a good month, I didn't think I would succeed at all.
Well, I mean, you hear that from like Elon Musk or like Steve Jobs or even Casey Neistat. You hear about these like pivotal moments that they take where they have absolutely no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't. I mean,
that's like the biggest leap that you take. I mean, it's the coolest leap that you can take.
It is, because the thing is like when you work in the corporate world, you always have someone telling you what's going to happen next week. When you're an entrepreneur, you make your own schedule. You make your own reality. You are your own reality. And when you actually harness that, you can make your whatever you want to happen. Now, does it happen quickly? No. Like I said, there was a good month where I was like, okay, how am I going to make money?
Tell us about that. Like it was slow, and then it ramped up, wouldn't you say? And then now it's going, right?
It was slow. Yeah, for the first month I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, for the first month I almost quit, actually. I put in a lot of money legally and everything, and I was like, you know what? I've lost money, so I might just quit. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm gonna cold email. And this is actually how it all happened. I was like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna put down every single business or person or client, famous celebrity business person, and I'm gonna cold email the crap out of them. That's like, and I literally did that for a good like 2 weeks, and for I don't even know, actually probably longer. And guess what? Cold emailing, I would definitely tell everybody to do, because 1 out of 10 would respond, and 1 out of 10 would say yes. And that 1 out of 10 has about 20 million other networks. And from there, Vox Voice came to be. And
isn't it cool when you start, like, everybody thinks entrepreneurship is such a risky gamble, but honestly, it's a game of numbers.
Yep.
I mean, just what you described was, hey, if I put in the time and I hustle and I send out X amount of emails, I should get this X amount back in response.
Yep.
And then the next thing you know, you're off and running.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Like,
it
really is, like, it's not as risky as everybody thinks it is.
No. And I mean, the thing is yeah, you're going to get a billion no's.
Right.
But that one yes is worth so much that those no's, heck, I'd take a billion no's a day for that one yes a day, you know? And if everyone thought that way, I think everyone's so scared of failure. That's the thing. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was scared. I considered myself a failure for the first good month, because I expected a huge boom to happen. Like, I launched and it was like, oh man, complete famous, like Forbes top 100 companies in a month, but it doesn't happen that way.
Right.
And if you just really I just recently watched the Steve Jobs movie, and I would recommend that to people to watch, because it really shows that, he started in his garage, his basement, basically. And from there, he built something that no one else believed in, but everybody laughed at his face, but he kept doing it until boom, there comes the boom. Now, it didn't happen in the beginning, so that's what you got to do, is you just got to keep working towards the boom. If that makes sense. Go for the boom.
For sure. So. And I think there's one thing that you mentioned where, the expectations that you put for yourself are so high that you have to learn how to balance like how you treat yourself with those expectations.
Exactly.
You can't beat yourself up when it's taking a little bit longer than you anticipated.
Yep, exactly.
Patience is a virtue, we hear, right?
It is, and that's a hard one.
So that's a little bit about Bianca and her success. Obviously, we'll be talking a lot more about some of the experiences she's had with her clients and whatnot, but hopefully that gives you a little one-on-one time on getting to know Bianca and hopefully understand why we're building this whole platform for you millennial entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
That sounds good.